But Coach Gabriel, thank you so much for taking the time to join us
No
today
problem,
on Running
guys.
Point.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Coach, what we do with all of our area coaches, we always like to start off with a meet the team segment. So, just in what you got from your practices, your tryouts, what are some names that are going to be turning some heads this year and returners, and what are some new names to kind of look out for in Spartan baseball?
A lot of returners this year. 11 seniors: Griffin Woodrick, Guy Young, Jason Treveri, Seth Cervello. Round out with the seniors: Jack Corden. And then you have some other returners, some junior guys: Gavin Hyde, who was our one last year, and Caleb Satterfield. He saw time at the end of the year last year, so we're expecting good things from him. Anthony Butto's another senior to look out for in the infield for us. He's a senior that's returned. So pretty senior heavy this year.
Coach, I mean, when you look at a team like that that has so many seniors too, I mean, leadership doesn't seem like it's going to be something that's going to be lacking on this team too. So how do you kind of balance the tribe, I guess, to where there's not too many chiefs in it at one point, and everyone has their role, and everyone can kind of I guess lead the team as by example.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. That's the trick. You have but they're good. They're a great group of kids, good seniors. I think they all know, each of them know their role, and they'll play their role well. But yeah, the balance is definitely has to be there. But I don't think they'll have a problem there. There's a lot of experience there, and there's a lot of maturity there, and I think they'll be just fine when it comes to the balance of that.
Coach, when you look at some of the goals that you guys have set this year, obviously you've had some time now to look at what you're going to get with practices and probably scrimmages next week. What are some goals that you and the coaching staff have kind of established for this team, and some expectations that you have of them as well?
I mean, I think every year we start off with, our goal is to win the conference and make a run into the tournament. Specifically, we've been trying our butt off for a lot of years to get back into a regional, and I think that's a huge goal for us. We feel like with a large group of seniors and experience that we have, that we have a chance to make a run at that. And then you're always looking to develop for the following year as well with some young guys, and hopefully that they play well, and you kind of keep piggybacking off of that.
Coach, I mean, you talk about winning the conference. Let's kind of look at this schedule too. I mean, you play in the tough AAC. We know there's going to be some very good teams. I mean, Howland, Fitch, Hartwig, and Canfield. We know these are great programs anyways. Talk to me about playing inside this conference, what kind of challenges that's going to present, and some of the non-conference games you're also excited for this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge every year in this conference. Especially specifically this year with the amount of arms that are in it. I think every team has a couple guys that can shut you down on the mound. And I mean, every year it's a grind every year. All those teams are good that you mentioned, Canfield, Fitch, Chardon, Howland, those guys can all play. And in terms of our non-conference, we always play. I think we pride ourselves in playing a tough schedule. We always have. We have Hoban on the schedule again this year. We have Chardon on the schedule again this year. I'm trying to think who else we even have. With South Range again this year, who I assume that they're going to be good again. And, we usually add a couple Federal League teams, and then we're going south this year to Myrtle Beach. So my assumption is we'll have some good squads there as well.
Well, it's always good to get out, get a little bit south, get a little bit warmer. Hopefully the weather down there cooperates with you. Coach, when you look at the strengths of your team, we talked about the strengths of some other teams in the AAC, and of course, we know the arms in the AAC. What are going to be some of the strengths of your team that you think you can utilize to have a successful season?
I mean, I think our pitching and our defense would be our strength. We're bringing back we have a lot of arms. We're going to be deep in that aspect of the game. We'll run 5, 6, 7 guys deep in the bullpen, and then defensively, being as experienced and as senior laden as we are, played really well last year defensively. We're solid up the middle. Really good catcher in Seth Cervello. really good middle, and Jack DeCenzo and Griffin Woodrig up the middle. And then, right now slated would be Caleb Satterfield in center. So we feel really good about our pitching and our defense.
It seems like for the entirety of Boardman, they can never seem to get enough baseball. I mean, even from youth programs up, that beautiful Field of Dreams down there has hosted so many important games throughout summer leagues, fall leagues, what have you. So just talk to me about just having that kind of interest already gauged in student athletes that are coming into the program, of baseball kind of already being big in the area. How much easier does that make making a team season to season when you have so many kids that are already just bought into the sport and already bought into the program through all these youth programs in the area?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, BCB does a great job over there at Field of Dreams, and they get interest early on, like you said, for the kids. And, the biggest key at that point is, as long as they keep, they just got to keep getting better. As you know, things change a whole lot when you get onto a big field. Things get very real then. And, as long as they keep working hard and putting in the time, it definitely helps. But Greg Krieger does a great job over there at BCB, and we work with them a lot with our freshman group. So, we do it. We work with them all the time. So they definitely help us out a lot, and we enjoy working with them.
You bring up a really good, really interesting point with the jump between, going in and playing at a bigger field and being ready for that next level. In your experience, what do you think is the biggest jump that kids struggle with when they go from maybe, okay, they're eighth graders and they have to go into freshman year and they're ready for, high school level baseball? What's that biggest jump or the biggest gap that you see?
I think the biggest gap is a lot of these kids have had a lot of success on a smaller field, and have had a lot of success on with their buddies. And I think when you jump out into high school and you start jumping out at Tessine Park into travel ball and onto a big field, the playing field evens out quite a bit. And kids that put in the time, kids that put in the work, kids that get a little bigger and stronger, those kids start to make a little push too. Like maybe a kid that wasn't as big or as successful when he was smaller, before they got onto a big field, they start making a little push too. So, it's just, you want to see kids stay interested in the game beyond Little League. And I think sometimes that's a struggle. And, because the game it's not for real until you get onto a big field. I really believe that.
And talking about getting those kids groomed into position to where they get to you onto that varsity level, we talked about BCB, but just talk to me other like Boardman Spartan program area things, as well as your assistants that kind of help you out with this program and keeping it where it is, and just helping these kids get to the varsity level.
I mean, we run a camp we run a camp every year. The coaches, they do an amazing job. We have a full, 4 coaches at varsity, 2 at JV, 2 at freshman. Last year we were at a JVB instead of a freshman. This year we have a full freshman squad. So do our best to keep those 3 squads going. Definitely don't want to ever have to turn into 2 teams if we don't have to, just because you want to keep that interest and you want to keep guys playing, because you just never know. I mean, you have young kids still, even at freshmen, that get a whole lot better, over a couple of years span, and they grow and just get better. And so you don't want to shut them out.
Coach, before we let you go, why don't you give the Boardman fans a call to action? Let them know when your first game is and how important it'll be for them to come support you guys this season.
Yeah, I mean, we open up at South Range on March 26th at noon at their place. And, anytime we get fan support, we need it. I mean, players feed off of that. And, we have a big year coming up, I think. And, we're excited to get going. That's for sure.
Coach, we want to thank you so much for your time and giving us a chance to preview Boardman baseball with you this year. I mean, we know this AAC is going to be a gauntlet, and there's going to be so many fun games to watch and just be a part of this season. So I'm sure, with no doubt, we're going to be talking to you again real soon.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yep. Thank you, Coach.